Hey guys, this is John from Walton's, and this is Venison Willy Snack Sticks. One of the nice things about being based out of Kansas is we never have a shortage of deer to process. We just had a friend shoot a doe, and he was nice enough to give it to us to process from beginning all the way to the end. So the first thing obviously we had to do was skin it, and this isn't something that I absolutely excel at, but I can do it. It's probably only the fourth, maybe fifth one I've ever done, but we were able to hang it from our tractor trailer here at Walton's. We got it skinned fairly easily, just nicked it twice, so that was pretty good for me. Wanted to make sure that we also quartered it outside. So we took both the front legs off and then separated the rear legs from the carcass, and we were good to go. We brought it all in here and we started breaking it up. We wanted to get the back straps and the tenderloins. Now we did have a problem with this deer. It was shot right through the spine, so it did break up that back strap, and we didn't end up with really nice long ones, but they're still gonna make delicious deer steaks or just a smoked back strap. We took everything else except for the football roasts, which we turned into jerky, and ground it up for delicious Willy's deer snack sticks. We wanted to be right at 20% pork fat. Now the reason for that is the people we're making these for do like a little bit leaner of a sausage. I normally like to go to the 25 range, but we did 20% for them, and all I had to do to get that was buy a couple of pork butts and separate out the fat from lean. That gave me the 5 pounds of fat I needed, and we started making snack sticks. While I was cutting up the meat for this, I remembered that I had some 25 by 30 flexible cutting mats, and my good Lord, are those things easier to use than the white trays I normally use. Do yourself a favor and pick up 2 of those. It'll make your deer processing a lot easier, especially if you're doing it in the kitchen and not in some processing room. We cut up all the meat small enough to get down the throat of our grinder, and for this, we used the Walton's One-Shot attached to our 22 grinder. Now, because of that, we took the meat right out of the cooler and went to grinding. If you're using traditional grinding systems, which would be 3/8 on your first grind and then 1/8 on a second pass, I highly recommend you go ahead and get a good freeze on your chunked meat. After your first grind, depending on how long that takes, you may even want to consider putting that meat back into the freezer for 20 to 30 minutes, just till it starts to get hard and crunchy again. This is going to make your second pass through the grinder a lot easier. Once we had everything all ground, we put it into our 50-pound mixer, and we were using the Walton's Willy's seasoning. Now, this is the first time we've used the Walton's brand on Willy's seasoning on deer, so I was very excited to see what it tasted like. We obviously added Sure Cure and Sure Gel, mixed those until we got protein extraction, and then during the last 60 seconds of the mixing process, we added some encapsulated citric acid. Now, we add encapsulated citric acid for a couple of reasons. One, it lowers the pH of the meat, extending its shelf life, and it gives it that nice tanginess that I really like. It does also act as a cure accelerator, so we can go right from stuffing into the smoker. Now, speaking of stuffing, because we're using 19mm casings here, and this is deer, I do add more water than I would if I was making pork snack sticks. So normally I use 0.75 liters of water to a 25-pound batch. For this, I used about 1.25 liters of water to a 25-pound batch, and it stuffed like an absolute drain through our 30-pound electric stuffer. No problems whatsoever. You can see it's coming off nice and easy and smooth and perfectly consistent. I didn't have to worry about where my arm was when I'm going up. Is there more pressure, less pressure? It's just consistently pushing that out. Only times we have to stop are when we need to reload some casings. For our smoke schedule on this, we kept it very simple. We had 120 degrees for 15 minutes with the top and bottom dampeners wide open. This is what's known as a drying or conditioning phase. This is what's gonna let smoke adhere to the product. If you didn't use a cure accelerator and you're pulling these right out of your cooler, you really might want to consider moving that up to about a 30-minute conditioning phase. We then let it cook at 120 degrees for an hour, then stepped it up to 130 degrees for an hour and added smoke and humidity. With your home smoker, you're just gonna try and add as much humidity as you can. That could be just a water pan, that could be a water pan with automotive sponges, or the Walton's Smoker Soaker Towel. That can really help you get the relative humidity up inside your smoker. After the 130 degrees, we went to 150 for an hour, then 170 for an hour, and finally 180 degrees until the internal temperature reached 160 degrees. Now, I know some of you will stop short of the 160 degrees, and that's your own personal preference, but I do like a somewhat drier snack stick, and because we added more water than normal to these, I wanted it to hit that full 160. After we pulled them out of the smoker, we made sure they went through a nice ice bath and then let them bloom for an hour. That's where we just let them sit at room temperature. We're gonna get some color development here, and the sausage is gonna continue coming down to temp before we put it in the cooler. We don't wanna put hot snack sticks into the cooler. Pull them out the next day, let them sit for another hour so that they could dry out, cut them all up into perfect size with our cutting board, and absolutely phenomenal. They are delicious. I love that little tang from the encapsulated citric acid, and Willie's is our most popular snack stick seasoning for a reason, and it's even better with deer than it is with pork. So if you've got your deer, if you've got your doe already, and you're looking for something to make, Willie's snack sticks out of venison is phenomenal. Just make sure you're adding the correct amount of pork fat. That's what's gonna make or break the entire thing. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and visit waltons.com and meatgistics.com to find everything but the meat. Thanks for watching. I'm John with Waltons, and we'll see you guys next time.